Hi, I'm Natalie. It's Monday, so it's a marketing Monday. Today, we're going to draw your referral ecosystem, the map that you've probably never actually drawn, and why it's costing you referrals. I want you to do something for me right now, actually, before I say anything else. Grab a blank piece of paper, a real one, and a pen or a pencil. And I'm serious. I'll wait. Mm. That is a lovely iced coffee. My husband says that I don't have a personality before coffee, just a temperament. He's probably not wrong. All right. So you've got your pen and your paper. So what you want to do is put your name right in the middle of the page and draw a circle around it. And we're going to come back to that paper in just a few minutes because today's Marketing Monday is a sort of do it with me episode, so that by the end of these 10 or 15 minutes together, you're going to have something that very few neutrals in our field ever sit down and make. It's a map of your referral ecosystem. Now, here's the truth about how neutrals actually build practices. It's not primarily through advertising. It's not primarily through directories. They're great, social proof, nice backup, good support. It's not even primarily through content, although content really, really matters. But the single largest source of new work for most practitioners is referral. Attorneys, HR professionals, financial advisors, other neutrals, maybe executive coaches, therapists, accountants, real estate agents. You get the idea. Other professionals who encounter your future clients before you do, and who decide whether to send those clients your way or not. So here's the thing. Almost every client that I work with has a referral network. Most of them didn't build it on purpose. It sort of grew up around them over years. Colleagues they've known forever, attorneys they've worked with, uh, same side of the table, across the table, people that they happened to meet at a conference years and years ago who turned out to be very lovely and who started sending the occasional case. That network exists, but for the most part, it was not with a plan. It was accidental. And here's the cost of an accidental network. You don't have any idea where the gaps are. You don't know which categories of professionals are overrepresented in your network and which are missing entirely. And you don't know which relationships are warm and which have gone dormant. You don't know whether your referrals are coming from 3 people or 30. And that means you can't do anything about any of it. You're just sort of, a wish and a prayer, hoping that the next referral shows up. But a map changes that. A map turns a fuzzy intuition into a really strategic asset. So that's what we're going to draw together right now. Step 1, on that piece of paper in front of you, around your name in the middle, I want you to list every person who has referred you a matter in the last 3 years. Not types of people, but actual people by name. Take a minute, pause the video if you need to, go look at your case intake list or your CRM, but I mean specific names. And now look at that list. And what we're going to look at are 3 things specifically. First, how long is it? How many names are on the list? If you're like most of the clients that I work with, the list is shorter than you thought it would be, probably. Most ADR practices are sustained by somewhere between 5 and 15 consistent referral sources, not 50, not 100, but a handful of people who think that you, on a repeated basis, are the right kind of neutral when the right kind of case shows up on their desk. Next, we want to look at what professions are on the list. Group the names by profession or role. Are they mostly attorneys, mostly in-house counsel, a specific industry vertical, maybe a particular kind of consultant? But look at the pattern. That pattern will tell you who actually understands your work well enough to refer it confidently. And then the third thing that we want to look at is, and this is sometimes a surprise question for some of my clients, when did each of those people last refer you? In the last 6 months, in the last 2 years? If somebody on your list hasn't referred you a matter in 18 months, then they're not actively in your network anymore. They're a dormant relationship, but we'll come back to those, I promise. Now, the next step, step 2, this is an adjacent map. So now what we want to do is draw a second ring around your first set of referrers. In this outer ring, we're going to add the professions and roles of people who work with the same clients your current referrers work with, but who, for whatever reason, are not sending you any cases. But let me give you a more concrete example, because this is, I think, where a lot of neutrals have their biggest maybe aha moment. So say that you're an employment mediator, and inside your inner circle, your active referrers are mostly employment defense attorneys. Great. Those people understand your work, they refer when matters arise, and you've nurtured those relationships, hopefully for years. Now, who works with the same employer side clients, but is not currently referring to you? Might be HR consultants, employment law, plaintiff lawyers. Maybe you need a few more folks from the other side of the table. Especially in cases, where they want a settlement track, but executive coaches who get called in when a leadership conflict is sideways, that's a good group. Outplacement firms, workplace investigators, EAP providers, labor relation consultants, insurance brokers, where a client says, I need someone to help us resolve this. And every single one of those professionals could refer to you if they knew you, trusted you, and had a reason to think of you when the time comes. So write down 5 or 10, your choice, of those adjacent professionals around your inner ring. Just the role or the profession. You don't need names just yet. These are the gaps in your map. These are the categories of people who should be sending you work and aren't. Now, step 3, this is the ideal referral source profile. So now you're going to do something that, again, I think most neutrals have never done, and you're going to define your ideal referral source the same way that you would define your ideal client. So look back at your inner circle, the people who actually refer to you consistently. What do they have in common? Same profession, same firm size, same industry vertical, same kind of client base, maybe, same approximate age or career stage. You'll see the pattern. And that pattern is your ideal referral source profile. And why does that make any difference? It makes a difference because when you know exactly what your best referral sources look like, then you can build the rest of your network on purpose. And you stop networking with sort of whoever happens to be at the conference and start networking with the specific types of professionals who are statistically most likely to send you the kind of work you actually want. So you write that profile down, 2 or 3 sentences underneath your map, something like, my ideal referral source is, and then fill in the blanks. Profession, practice area, industry, firm or organization type, maybe a geographic market, what kind of client base they have, what kind of disputes they might encounter, that kind of thing. Now, step 4, this is where we're going to go back. Remember, I said we would talk about dormant relationships a few minutes ago? Now we're going to talk about it. So this is something that you really do not want to skip. This is the step that, in my experience, produces the fastest results. So don't miss out on this one. Go back to your original list of past referrers and find those people who used to refer to you but haven't in the last year, 18 months. Those are not lost relationships. They're just dormant. relationships. And dormant relationships are some of the most under leveraged assets in our business. Why? Because these people already know you. They already trust your work. They sent you cases, historically. They're not cold contacts. They're warm contacts that maybe have just gone quiet through some mutual neglect. Maybe they're retired and they've started doing something new. Maybe they switched firms. Maybe they just got busy. But I think in most cases, a really simple reach out, hi, hello, I've been thinking about you. How's your practice going these days? I'd love to catch up. Let's meet for a cup of coffee. And that reactivates the relationship in just this one single conversation. So circle 3 dormant names on your paper right now. Go ahead. 3, not 10. We got to keep this doable and realistic. So just 3. You can work on the next 3 next quarter and the next 3 the next quarter. All right, now step 5. Step 5, this is where all of the plan comes together. The map now is strategic. So look at your map and pick 3 specific actions in the next 30 days. That's it, just 3. And then you write them down at the bottom of the page. So identify 3 new professionals in one of the adjacent categories that you wrote in the outer ring, not the categories, but the actual names. And then commit to yourself that you're going to reach out and have a coffee chat or a get together or a meeting with each of them in the next quarter. Just one conversation a month. That's very, very manageable. The next thing that you want to do is reach out to the 3 dormant relationships that you just circled. It's not a sales message. This is a really simple, hey, what are you up to this summer? Hey, what's going on, with your kids going off to college? You feeling okay about it? Whatever it is, it's not a sales message. This is a let's catch up message. That's it. And then the third thing that you want to do is pick one referral category that's entirely missing from your current network, a professional category that, sort of given who your clients are, really should be in your ecosystem and isn't. And then spend 30 minutes, just that 30 minutes, researching the local or industry associations where those professionals gather. You don't need to join. You just need to know that it exists. So that's the plan. 3 actions, 90 days, very doable in the margins of a normal practice, but that's what you're going to do for this quarter. Next quarter, there will be other actions that we take. That's all that we need to do right now. And I guess one of the bigger questions that I get asked by clients is, why the map itself matters. Well, here's what happens when you start doing this exercise. You stop seeing referrals as a thing that happens to you, and you start seeing them as a system that you can actually shape. And that shift in mindset is, I think, one of the single most important practice development moves I've watched my clients make in 30 years of doing this work. Everything downstream of that shift, the consistency, the targeting, the relationships you build on purpose, that all follows from this map. From a position of ROI, this is brilliance in action because the map costs you a blank piece of paper in 10 minutes. Big ROI. So your homework this week, finish your map. If you started it with me just now, take another 20 minutes today and complete it. If you didn't, if you watched this without a piece of paper, then do it before the end of the week. Put it where you can see it, pin it inside the cover of a notebook, whatever works for you. And then start working on it. 3 actions, 90 days. And if you want help thinking through your referral ecosystem strategically, the specific categories most likely to serve your niche, the kind of outreach that actually opens a relationship, how to structure a strategic alliance with a complementary professional, That's exactly the kind of work that we do every day here at Marketing Resolution. So come find me on the website, howtomarketmymediationpractice.com. Find me on LinkedIn. I would love to take a look at your map with you. That's it for today. Be a good human. Bye-bye.